Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. Let's call this the Friday flip through. I have some things that I want to show you, and it's mostly flipping through journals. I just wanted to share a couple of journals that I listed this morning. This is a smaller journal than my standard 9x6. This one is about 5x7, and you can see it has a lot of grungy, sort of messy fabric pages, or layers, not pages, over a file folder as the base. And it's bound with hemp cord. It's got 4 glass beads for the charms. The pages are so adorable. Every page is cut down from a collage that was a little bit larger. These print at 8.5 by 11, and then you can cut them down to make your own journal. These are currently listed on my website, and feel free to print these off and use them. abitofbirdsong.com. On my blog, I share a lot of free digitals. I have more digitals in my Patreon, and we'll be adding more to the Patreon soon. But I do try to put a lot of free images on my website, and sometimes after they've been on Patreon for a while first, I will then share them on my public website for use. Anyway, this is listed in the shop, and it's got the pockets. I love making these journals with not too many pages, because they are quicker to make than some things that are more, highly embellished or decorated. There's sort of a system I have in place to making these. This one is just listed as well. All the description is in the Etsy shop. I do love this one. I love all of the layers. I love the owl on the front. It has a few more fabric layers than some of the other ones. Anyway, these pages, and that's the center. A lot of these pages are shared in the description. And then it's got kind of a large pocket, a lot of strings, again, a lot of layers. This little tag on the front is really fun. It came from a piece of muslin or cotton fabric that had been a bag for some sort of merchandise. And I just fell in love with that tag, so I included that on the front. While we're flipping through, this is one of my current art journals. You've seen this before. I've shared most of these pages, but I wanted to show you a couple of recent journal spreads. I've gotten back into mixed media a little more heavily. It's something I always do, but it's funny how we take breaks from things to kind of grow our abilities in other areas. At least that's what I feel like I do. This is from the last video, I think. But then I just wanted to show you a couple of things. You can see there's a lot of room yet to work in here. This is one of the ones I created a couple of, maybe last night, or the night before. The days run together. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. And I can, I will, I did. This is just a lot of layers of watercolor paints, a few scribbling marks, some dots and things, dots and dashes and shapes from a paintbrush. And it's really fun. If you dip your paintbrush in any color acrylic paint, but black really made it distinctive. You can press down and you're going to start getting different shapes as the bristles separate from each other. I love that these marks look like some sort of character, but it's where the brush had separated and there was a space in the center, and I just left that. This is a marker that ran a lot with water. I may come back and add some white to this face, but I'm not sure. And the other spread that I did, this is really getting back into mixed media and faces. It is a layer of adhesive, which has a lot of collage on the top. I tore up a bunch of pieces of paper with kind of a color palette, and I used those pages to kind of dictate what colors I was going to use as far as acrylic paint. And then I put paint down in different areas. I dried the paint between each layer so that it kept its distinctive color, each paint, and then outlined a face with pencil. I ended up using a watercolor pencil from this Fantasia artist, and this is the, I think this is just black. What does that say? 54 is the color on that, but it's really dark. I used that for a lot of the shading I did use a regular pencil for some things. You can see it still has paint on it from where it dug into this layer. And when I realized that it was going to do that until I let the page dry a little bit more, and I didn't want to wait for that, I did use my hair dryer, but it seems like this layer was still pretty thick. I went ahead and switched over to the watercolor pencil. I'm on a quest right now to figure out what my very favorite art supplies are. You can see the white acrylic paint. At the end, I did put a layer of the matte medium, this is the Jane Davenport matte medium, which kind of blended the shading more than I wanted it to. But it's still fun. It still turned out okay. I think I'm gonna look for some new supplies as far as acrylic paints and colors, markers, and I want to try some Stabilo markers. I do love these watercolors. I am finding that I love really smooth black watercolor pencils for some of this. I love my white acrylic paint, and I want to find something to use as a finish. I love the way Mod Podge ties things together, but it always ends up sticky for me, so I kind of quit using it. So I've been reading about and watching videos about fixatives that can go on at the last that kind of cover up that sticky finish. Anyway, that's the Friday flip through. I feel like I'm always covered in strings. It's been a really, really busy week. I know I say that all the time, but this past week I have been busy putting things away that I brought back from my son John's apartment. So that apartment, for those of you who are not clear on everything, when I left my 23-year marriage, I moved into a very large apartment so I would have room for all of my children. And then I moved out of town, and the two youngest came with me through all of this. I moved away for a year. I came back to an apartment that I shared with just my youngest, my daughter, and then my youngest son moved in with us. So we moved to a 2-bedroom, and John, my son, ended up keeping that 2-bedroom until recently. So it's like I had a little bit of everything from everywhere in that apartment. John is awesome. He's kept that apartment up. He's such a good son. And, you know, I don't think my stuff was in the way. He ended up using some of the furniture I had, and I had things tucked in closets. You have no idea how much you have tucked into closets and under beds and in pieces of furniture until you have to move. So I've been really busy this past week, clearing out things from my vehicle, putting things away, donating things. And that was after the week prior, spending time helping John actually pack and move. Then this week, this week that we're in currently, I saw my youngest grandson on Monday, spent about 5 hours with him. Tuesday, I was playing catch up. Wednesday, I spent time with my 2 oldest grandchildren and my second son, who lives about 45 minutes away. And then yesterday I was back with my grandson, the youngest one. He belongs to my daughter. So it has been a very, very busy week, but it's been a good week. I hope you can see me, but I see a lot of glare on here. So I'm just gonna go with it. Okay, so I just wanted to show you a few things. I will try to get any footage today that's exciting while I'm out. And I will be back really soon. Thank you so much for being here. There are some free images on my website always. I have more in Patreon. The Pen Pal mail from Patreon will be going out very soon. I try to get it out by the 15th. For the last, I guess, 2 or 3 months, I've been late. It seems like I'm in a season of chaos. There's been a lot of moving in the family. There's been a lot of change in the family. I mean, we've had 2 deaths in the family of very young people over the last, I guess, 6 months. Yeah, it's been a lot. So anyway, I'll be back really soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.